Alright, so we are now in part 3 of the top 25 best films of 2017 list, and like I said in the previous two videos, if there are any films that are not on this list that you really did like, I'm sorry, but this is just my list, no hard feelings intended. Again, honorable mentions will come relatively soon, but without a doubt, let's start the list off at number 15, which is Wind River. Now, this film, written and directed by Taylor Sheridan, is an intense look on the Native American life on a reservation in Wyoming, and it stars Jeremy Renner and Elizabeth Olsen, and I think this is one of the most gritty and disturbing films I've seen all year. Jeremy Renner gives a career-defining performance. Elizabeth Olsen also does a fantastic job in her role as an FBI agent, and this film is no holds barred by any means. They show you everything when it comes to the raw alcoholic, drug-addicted life some natives face on the reservations, and about how hard a murder is on families and, on the surrounding communities. Wind River is something that, I think a lot of people, got to see over the summer, at least in the indie community, and that's great because films like this need to be shared across the platforms. It was too bad it was distributed by the Weinstein Company originally, but luckily, that label has since been removed, so, yeah, thanks to, Taylor Sheridan and the whole producing team for that. So, yeah, keep on the good work, Taylor. I hope you do great, especially on your next film, Sicario sequel. Alright, coming in at number 14 is The Big Sick. Now, this is probably the comedy of the year, in my opinion. Kumail Nanjiani and Emily V. Gordon's script is absolutely top-notch. The humor and the drama are very intertwined, and it works perfectly in a sense. Holly Hunter and Ray Romano as the supporting parents, for Emily in the film are just really realistic and believable. Kumail Nanjiani playing himself, it doesn't feel too tacky, and it feels like, this is based on a true story, and I feel really bad for what happened in Kumail's life, also in Emily's life, too. Zoe Kazan does also a very fine job. Michael Showalter's direction feels very, crisp and to the point, and I'm very glad someone like Judd Apatow decided to produce a project like this. Especially in a sense since, Judd Apatow is mostly known for his raunchy comedies, but this is a lot more held back, and this was certainly, I wish this would have been in competition for Sundance instead of just premiering, but whatever, I'm glad this film got a chance to shine over the summer. It's just too bad that, this film didn't get as much recognition at the Golden Globes. And the good news is, when I went to go see this movie in theaters, I went to go see a special screening of it called The Bigger Sick, where there was some behind-the-scenes footage. If you have the DVD or Blu-ray or even a digital copy of The Big Sick, I would recommend check out the behind-the-scenes. They're really funny and heartfelt. So yeah, probably the year's best comedy. Alright, coming in at number 13, we have The Shape of Water. Now, I'm going to keep this one brief since I am planning on doing a review on this movie, so that'll come out when when my technical situation is sorted out. But to keep it short, this is Guillermo del Toro's best work to date. Sally Hawkins is phenomenal, along with Michael Shannon, Octavia Spencer, and Richard Jenkins in this film. The romance in this film, while it may seem odd on paper, feels very heartfelt and very, aquatic-like in a sense. It's not fishy at all. The Shape of Water, is a stroke of genius that has come from Fox Searchlight. It's not their first film on this year's list, but it's certainly, one of their better contenders. I'm glad this film's getting all the love it's getting at the award shows, and I think, The Shape of Water, it may be a creature feature, but it's much smarter than your average B movie, for sure. So, I would definitely give this, an A+ in the short run. Alright, coming in at number 12 is Call Me By Your Name. Now, this James Ivory written script stars Armie Hammer and Timothée Chalamet, as two, lovers over a summer in 1983 Italy, and Luca Guadagnino's direction of this, based on book tale written from about 11 years ago is just absolutely, breathtaking. The structure of Call Me By Your Name, I do have to say, is unconventional, and to some it may be off-putting due to the slower pace, and, the climax of the film, can be to some disappointing and pretty, heartbreaking, especially, the credits. And the main plot of the film actually doesn't really start till the second act, but the way Call Me By Your Name is set up, it really is more realistic. It could have easily been a predictable romantic shrivel like you see in a lot of other films like 50 Shades of Grey or, Home Again, from what critics have said. But really, Call Me By Your Name is one of the most beautiful films I've seen all year. The music done by Sufjan Stevens really fits with the tone and really just, the bright summer feeling of a summer fling, especially, in laid-back 1980s Italy. And Timothée Chalamet gives a career-defining performance. Armie Hammer continues his streak of, being on the rise. And I do think Call Me By Your Name, you shouldn't really miss this one out because it's not in many theaters, but go check it out if you can. And finally, ending off this list at number 11, just shy of the top 10, is The Lovers. Now, I already talked about this film during my big May roundup earlier in May 2017. However, I must address this again. The Lovers is one of the most underappreciated films of 2017. Azelle Jacobs' direction and script is absolutely, just... I don't know what to say, honestly, because in some parts it's absolutely hilarious, and in other parts it's just cripplingly sad. I mean, Tracy Letts and Deborah Winger have some of the best chemistry I have seen all year long. A24, the distributor of this film, did a phenomenal job, picking out a film such as this, because it's just too bad not many people got to see it. And that's because, its subject matter is a little bit heavy-hitting, to say the least. A married couple that, has affairs that all of a sudden they go back, they're cheating on their affairs. It is a pretty strange concept, and one that'll be pretty polarizing to a lot of, married couples out there, especially ones that are going through relationship troubles. But I do have to say that based on that concept, I wouldn't, let this film fool you in a sense. The Lovers is really, one of the best takes of, modern relationships I have seen in a very long time. So please check this one out. I really cannot recommend it enough. Well, that is the list for today. Please make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Also, did you see any of these movies? Let me know in the comments down below if you did. And stay tuned for part 4 tomorrow. So, see you around, people.